meet the Mets. Step right up and greet the Mets. Bring your kiddies, bring your wife.
And how you doing, how you living, how you feeling, folks? Back for another episode of City Night Lights, brought to you by the Idiots Podcast Network. Of course, I'm your favorite host. My name's Zach. Glad to be back on the airwaves as always. Just glad to talk some Mets. There's nothing quite like it. Now, today's going to be the first game of the Brave series, so we really won't hit that till next week. But I just kind of wanted to give a little recap on, kind of the first three series of the year. And, kind of what the Mets are looking like right now after the first three series, what direction we seem to be in. And, kind of just to take some of those way too early season takes, kind of to see what this team looks like, go week by week and really just kind of dive in and see how we feel about the Mets right now. So, obviously, like I said, this isn't going to include game one of the Brave series where we're going to get to see Julio Teheran make his Mets debut. Of course, not of course, but unfortunately, we're not going to get to see JD Martinez up in this role. JD Martinez, guy we picked up in the offseason, very excited to watch the 36-year-old get out there, but he's dealing with full body soreness at the moment, so it doesn't look like we're going to see him for this Brave series, but that's all we can do for right now is just kind of take it series by series. So with that being said, let's talk about the Mets team itself, and I'll go over some of the highlights first. I would definitely say, their bullpen is, outside of Michael Tonkin, someone who I, have already stated I greatly dislike. Seemingly pretty decent. I like where we're going. I'm not exactly sure what Diekman looks like long term. Maybe he just had a bad 2 outings, but I like to see a little bit more of Diekman, see where that goes. I really do like Jorge Lopez. Drew Smith and Raley are solid. Ottavino is solid. And Diaz looks good again. So it's always awesome to see Diaz looking awesome, No runs through 5 innings right now with 2 saves. Gotta love that. Even with 8 Ks. So I like to see Diaz kind of back in full form, back doing what Diaz, does best. So that's an awesome thing. Our bullpen looks absolutely phenomenal. And then some of the young guys, young guys have really been playing well. Francisco Alvarez, I know he's only taken 29 plate appearances, but he's batting .333 with a .379 OPB or OBP on base percentage. And, he's looked really good. Every time I'm watching the Mets game, I'm very happy with what Alvarez has been doing. His play on the field looks unbelievably phenomenal. So I've just been happy to have him there. It's really he's been an exciting player for me. And then another guy who I really didn't expect to be doing as well as he's been so far is going to be Brett Baty. Brett Baty has definitely surprised me. I didn't expect him to come out of the gates looking significantly more professional than he had the year before. Now, of course, we all hope for that in development, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. But I will say, Brett Baty, he's definitely proven me wrong. I really hope this guy develops further and, really becomes that third baseman, that cornerstone piece we've needed at that position since David Wright has left. To be the true replacement to David Wright would be a really cool thing. And with this season so far, Brett Baty has shown me that he's on the track to being a very successful MLB player. I've seen Tyrone Taylor play a little bit, guy we got from Milwaukee in the Adrian Hauser trade. He's been halfway decent. But yeah, outside of that, Marte looks all right. But something, there are a couple things I want to talk about in terms of, what doesn't look as great. But before we get there, the only other thing I'll mention is Sean Manaea looks phenomenal. Very happy that he's on the ball club. Guy looks like a true professional pitcher. So through 2 starts so far, guy has let up, I believe, 1 run through 11 innings. Very happy with the work we've seen out of Sean Manaea so far. So just wanted to give him a quick little shout out. Now, some of the shortcomings so far with this Mets team are really Francisco Lindor, man. He's a huge downside right now. He's only batting, he's batting .083, so he's pretty freaking horrendous right now. He's only getting a hit on 8% of his at-bats, and that's through 43 plate appearances. I mean, he just has been unbelievably ice cold this season so far to start the year. His defense hasn't really tapered off. His defense looks great, but offensively, this Lindor is not the Lindor we've seemingly known for a long time. So I'd like to see him pick it up and just get the ball and play, hit the damn ball. That's really a big thing I need out of him. Pete Alonso's another guy. I'm less worried about Pete because, him batting 184 to start the season. He's still got 2 home runs. Doesn't really concern me. I know what Pete is. Pete's a clutch hitter. He's a big power bat. If he's, only batting 200, 210 for the season with 40 home runs, I'm not bothered by that. I know what we're getting out of Pete. So my expectations are set, and I really like Pete. I really enjoy watching him play. And then, kind of the other batter I really wanted to talk about right now is Jeff McNeil. Jeff McNeil has just not looked the same ever since he won that Silver Slugger. He's looked like a shell of the player he once was. So it's a little disappointing to see what McNeil's been doing through the first 3 series of this season so far, but that doesn't mean there's not a lot of time for him to, kind of turn this whole ship around. So that's what I'm excited for. I think that, between Lindor and McNeil, we'll definitely see some positive regression. Same thing with Pete, some positive regression towards these guys, As the season goes on, there's more stats to be collected. I really do hope that we see some fire out of those guys. And I know I didn't talk about Harrison Bader, but early in the season, I really feel like I need to see more of him to give him any type of judgment. DJ Stewart, I can't wait for you to get sent down for JD. It's my only thing. And then we'll talk about the starting rotation. I mean, Jose Quintana, he got blown up, and I believe in his first start, better in the second. Same thing with Sevy, but I'm still a little worried about this rotation. It just doesn't feel that solid to me. Like when I look at it, I see Quintana, Sevy, Manaya, Tehran, and Hauser. It's just not the type of lineup that I really think is a playoff, or not, I'm sorry, not the type of rotation that's really a playoff competent rotation. I mean, of course, we've seen all of these guys have their own individual success throughout their career at different points, but that's the thing. They're all at different points. They all haven't had that success in a little while. So I'm just kind of intrigued to see how this season's going to play out for a lot of these veteran pitchers. If they still have the stuff. And that's really the big thing there. Do they still have the stuff? I mean, obviously, Sean Manaea's looked great through 2 starts. We've seen how good and bad Sevy can be. We've seen Quintana, how good and bad he can be. Julio Tehran worries me a little bit just because I've seen him for a long time. He was once a in-division pitcher. I feel like I kind of have a read on him, so I'm a little nervous about that. And Adrian Hauser is really just an innings eater, but he had a great opening day, or not opening day, but opening Mets outing. My one big thing is we really just need to get more innings out of these guys. I do love our bullpen, but we can't be expecting our bullpen to get 4 innings in every single game. At some point, these guys are going to be able to, are going to need to go into the third rotation of this lineup and, be able to be effective to some capacity, because only getting 5 innings out of your starter, 5 and a third, that's just not effective enough for this team, to sustain long-term success. So that's really going to be something that I think plagues this team long-term, unless we can get, guys like Kodai Senga back into the lineup and in full form. Definitely having him in there will help us out at once every 5th day, just giving us a true guy, that can go 6 innings and be effective. Now, with that being said, I wouldn't worry about the Mets yet. I know we're 3-6. Season's very early. I wouldn't sweat anything out yet, guys. We're still kind of getting into the thick of it. So just, enjoy what we can do. Enjoy what we can enjoy for right now in the early season. No reason in getting our panties in a bunch. We just got to kind of roll with the punches here, see what happens. Let this first month kind of sort itself out. But I think maybe post this Brave series, I can predict a little bit more success. I just, this Brave series is going to be tough for us as I bring up the Mets schedule. This Brave series is definitely going to be a tough series for us. They've beaten the hell out of us time and time again, so I really hope that the Mets are able to, at least tie this 4-game series. I think that would be monumental. Now, post that, the Mets are going to, be playing the Royals at home. They're going to play the Pirates at home, so those are 2 big series for the Mets, kind of get back on track, especially that Royals series, get a couple more wins in the win column, at least get around 500. And then we go on to take the Dodgers in LA, San Fran. So we do have a couple tough series coming up, especially after the way we opened. I don't expect the Mets to necessarily have a winning record post first month, post April, but I think that this isn't a huge problem right now. This is definitely something that the Mets can fix. It's so early in the season. We had a lot of time. So that's definitely on our side for now. And we'll keep talking about this. I want to come in once a week, kind of give a little Mets recap, talk about Mets, just Mets baseball with you guys. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So with that being said, don't be afraid to hit that like button, that subscribe button, that comment button. I don't get a lot of people that comment. I respond to all the comments. So unless you're some random marketer that's going to, hit me up on Instagram and just kind of be annoying and send me to some guy who's not going to respond and not really want to market my stuff. Don't do that. But still all for those comments. Now, with that being said, I really do appreciate you guys for coming out, listening, spending some time with me. I know, it means a lot for me that you guys are taking the time out of your day to spend some time with me, so it's really awesome. I really appreciate it. And that being said, have a phenomenal day and stay idiotic, guys.